story of Birdsong is Stephen trying to understand in the present what happens to him in the past so that he can go forward into the rest of his life.
It's that moment of having felt like he belonged and that he had meaning, which he'd never had in his life, that then disappears when Isabel leaves him. And so that's something that he then, this sort of crisis is something that he has to negotiate throughout the war.
The memory of that love and trying to work out what happened in that affair really preoccupies him.
By drawing her to try and retain her memory, because he's probably lost what she looks like in his mind. It's trying to cling on to those things that you remember as tangible and real. I think actually that leads into his obsession with these tarot cards as well. It's trying to make sense of the nonsensical. It's trying to create something stable in a completely unstable world.
Who told Captain Weir he could take 2 of my men?
Captain Gracer.
At first, I think a lot of the boys are sort of unsure because he's very hard and he doesn't give very much away.
He's learnt that the way to survive the brutality of both normal human life and the life of our emotions, but also the extremes of World War I, is to try and close all that off and to put up a barrier.
Give me the dig and hold a gun.
You'll do what I say if it's needed.
Sir.
Jack Firebrace, he's one of the tunnelling company. He's come from East End London. He helped dig the Central Line and he's got a wife and a young son. These guys have come from doing this job as civilians and they're doing the same job here. So they're the only people who are properly trained to do what they do in many ways.
Get up! Get up! Get up!
What's remarkable about Jack is his ability still to be emotional and not to be, in a sense, institutionalised by what's going on around him, not to be unaffected by it, and in that respect, remain human. He's a selfless person, the sort of person I'd like to be.
In that moment when Douglas is dying, Firebrace witnesses something in Stephen, a compassion in Stephen.
I want you to think of her, and I want you to think of the last time that you saw her, and I want you to think of the first things that you will say to her when you see her again.
Firebrace sees that part of this coldness is a facade and sees a glint of something else exposed. Were you asleep?
I don't know. Yes, sir.
Even in the context of the moment in which Stephen tries Jack, puts him on trial, as it were, virtually court-martials him, almost has him killed for falling asleep.
Yes. Power and stability. No further charge.
In the extremity of that moment, I think Firebrace senses and can see through the damage in this person.
Captain Weir is quite an eccentric. He's quite different to a lot of the other men, and I think that's why him and Stephen got on quite well.
Would you believe it if I said I've never been with a woman?
Never. How old are you?
Old enough.
He takes a lot of his strength from Stephen, and I think in the same hand, Stephen lives a lot of his anxieties through Weir, so they both kind of need each other. When Weir thinks he's lost Stephen, I think that really breaks him.
Sir, has Lieutenant Raceford got a family?
I don't know. I really don't know.
It's his best friend, I think his only real friend that he's ever had. And he's a totally broken man, and Jack's the one that comes and just offers something to help him through it.
Someone should write to his family, sir. Send his badge.
People want to know what's happened, exactly how their loved one died. So in part he does it to help Weir, and in part he does it because he knows himself. If he goes, he'd want his family to know.
But when Jack's son dies, that breaks him.
It does break him.
What's your bloody for, eh?
Come on, let's get you out, Firebrace.
Life starts to lose its purpose.
Come on.
Everyone, darling. Boy.
But then he discovers there are other things. And actually that's the remarkable thing again about Jack, that he goes through the 5 stages of grief incredibly quickly.
Jack is teaching him the lessons that a father perhaps should have done, and because Stephen was sort of born without one, there is he's filling that role.
Through the war, you also watch Stephen develop a real understanding of the sacrifices that his men are making, and his relationship with the men takes on a very emotional content. I mean, he comes to truly love those men, and they in turn come to love him.
Just a few lines in answer to your letter which I received yesterday. Tipper kind of looks to Stephen for help and is like, am I going to be all right? What do I do? And kind of, I think Tipper always wants, well, particularly with a son, he kind of wants to be with Stephen all the time.
We're going to attack tomorrow. Everything is absolutely...
You're fighting a war, I suppose, against the enemy, but at the same time you're fighting a war against the conditions and against your own head and against missing your mum.
I love you, Gloria. Always have, always will. You do see men at their rawest, really. I mean, there's no kind of male bravado or anything because all that's stripped away.
Towards the end of the story, Jack and Stephen are marooned in a tunnel.
I made a beautiful boy. John.
Before Jack dies, he is able to, in some ways, connect with Stephen.
There is nothing more, sir. To love and be loved.
He spells out what life is for in a funny kind of sense, and offers that back to Stephen. And I think that's one of the most touching parts of the story.
It's his really being able to make a profound connection with Stephen, which enables Stephen to carry on with the rest of his life, actually, and teaches Stephen to want to live again.
Jack gives Stephen the final bits of understanding of himself that allow him to reconnect with his daughter and, in some ways, his family.
Mama. There is a sense of hope. There is a sense that we can still come through this and still turn out all right.